Right, quick update on the markets. I thought to do a video as this is now starting to come up. Markets are now starting to pull back and pull back based on the sellers. So what I'm seeing here on the daily is one push down, and we know this push down ended because of this pullback. Another push down. Now I am looking at this now as where this move down, this secondary move down, has ended because of this pullback that is now seemingly coming in. Now if, let's just say, things reverse immediately, right, I'll need to reassess whether this is a pullback or not. But at the moment, I think on this time frame we're witnessing, or we're seeing rather, a pullback from this move down. So I'm now confident enough to say that this push down, this secondary push down to this first push, has now ended. Now let's have a look. Let's clear all of that. Let's clear everything. So this push down, assuming it has indeed ended here, versus this push down, more or less the same, isn't it? Aren't they? They're more or less roughly the same. What I am anticipating is this pullback that's coming in now is potentially going to end round about this SNR level, and we'll have another push down to attempt to break this level. That's what I am anticipating now. It will all depend on the pullback, i.e. the buyers coming in right now. We'll need to see where they end. I think they have the potential to come all the way up to this guy who started this move down. I doubt it though. I really doubt it. One, I doubt they'll make a move from here all the way up, number one. Number two, even if they do go up in stages, right, I think coming up to this level is very, very unlikely. Possible, but very unlikely. I think more realistically is that prices come up to either this SNR or it ends round about here with this guy. Now let me go down to a lower time frame so we can see that guy. Let me scroll there. It's this guy. Oops. Get my marker. This guy right here who started this last push down on this market. So essentially what I am seeing is okay, so we have these guys, these buyers coming up to challenge these sellers, and these sellers pushed it down all the way up to here. We can look at it that way. Of course they came down in stages, right? They did all of that, right? But essentially they've made this move down. I'm anticipating at least one more move down. If these buyers are indeed strong, when this guy makes another attempt downwards, I don't think he'll be able to break this level. So if these buyers are indeed strong, this is the level. This is a strong level to hold, that will hold. So the 33,000 level, let me just go back up and ensure that it's, yep, right there. See it? That's the same guy right there. That's the same guy right there. He made all that move down. Okay, We now have our markers. So we know what the sellers are trying to do, what the buyers are trying to do. We now need to see who wins at levels that are important. What are the important levels? This SNR, as well as this guy who started it, and so far this guy who started it, which is also a strong SNR, right? Because we see sellers make several attempts to go down and failed before the buyers took over. So very interesting days ahead. My anticipation is that prices come up to round about this level, pulls back and uses this SNR. Remember, this is also an SNR. In fact, let me go back to the low time frame. This is also an SNR that the buyers are trying to combat. Now, interestingly, look at the way these guys are coming up now versus the previous time they tried to come up here versus the time before that, in this case here. Let me clear this up so we can see the moves. This first move, check this out. This first move, they sort of like came up, came down, came up, down, up. So it was sort of like a push up, down, up. This secondary move, similar thing, up, down, up. This third move, they are coming rather straight up, which means what? They are stronger this time round. Now let's have a look at the sellers from here, from where the line is. They came down. I'll just look at the extremes, right? So you can count it as that, you can look at it as that and all of that, right? Let me just focus on the extremes. They came down again, came down again. They came down in a down, up, down manner, came down again even stronger, but this time, the third time, it came down in a weaker manner to the last time they came down. Whereas the buyers are coming up stronger than the last time they came up. What does all of this mean? It means sellers are fading, buyers are gaining power. And that's why we see this curve. So if we were to use an MA, we would see something similar to this after some time being after this move up ends, because this is a strong enough move which will bend an MA, right? This is where we will see something like this in an MA. Well, right now it will be something like that, which is not yet bent but is in the progress of bending based on these guys who are coming up strong. And in order for the MA to bend, they need to come in strong. They need to make a statement. Not only make a statement, but not allow sellers to come down past this level. This way, we will see when the sellers make a move, potentially not coming down past this level, the buyers can then take it further to eventually break this guy. Interesting, isn't it? This is what I mean when certain things happen in the markets, which is just perfect to witness, because all of this, right, all of this move the last 2 weeks, was beautiful to see, because remember I was saying all of that is still one move down. If we were to very quickly have a look at the higher time frame, it's still one move down, right? All of this, it's all one move down. On the daily, you can see it clearer, as in 2 moves down. And I mentioned prices coming down to this level. Well, between there and there is a close enough. Sometimes it's not necessarily a specific line, it's more of a range. Like when these buyers are coming up, let me go down to the lower time frame. Like here, for example, if I'm using this as an SNR, right? It's not necessarily this line specifically. It can be, the SNR could be here or here or here, right? It's more of a zone, a range, a level. So it could be here, in fact, where where prices are right now. So you could have prices come down more, one more time, and break this guy to challenge this guy. And what we're seeing across the markets is the same thing. The same thing. See, now with this, it's all one move down. And this I'm anticipating as a pullback based on what's happening in this market and also other markets as well. Let me go higher. You can see that, okay, we've had this push up and this push up with sellers coming down strongly, and now buyers are coming up. It depends on how the buyers perform, but so far on at least the daily, the weekly is still to form, but so far on the daily, I'm confident enough to say, yes, this move has now ended. This move down has now ended. And we're seeing signs, that good signs, strong signs, strong indicators that it has indeed ended. We know it's ended because of this pullback that's happening. We're witnessing it live, which is, if we were to look at this, we have push up, and now we're having another push up, with this push up that's coming up potentially being weaker than this push up, which on the daily, I say potentially, it all depends on these buyers, how they perform, because in theory they could go all the way up, although actually on this market it's possible, although I doubt it. See, all of this move down, it gives us levels to aim for. All right, on this time frame, these buyers coming up, firstly aiming for here. Now, interestingly, okay, so what I mentioned earlier is in zones, right? So this guy who pushed it down is the same guy here who pushed it down. When prices came up to more or less the same level, he took a shot again to take it down. So these buyers coming up, firstly, they're going to take this guy out, which is more or less the same as this guy. So this is the level. It's a bit obscure here, but this is the level on this market, on this time frame, on which I think it was Wall Street I was looking at firstly. It's all one. It's clear as one level, one area, one zone. Whereas this is more obscure. Are we looking at this area, or is it this? Oh, sorry, this guy, or is it this guy? Same difference. I'm looking at all of this as a zone. Ultimately, if we had to choose one, of course, it will be the more extreme, this guy. But if you're buyers, you'd be careful from here all the way up to this guy. So it wouldn't surprise me if the more prices come up, they'll do so in a very hesitant manner. Let me go down to one more time frame just to have a closer look. It looks as though even on this time frame, they have this guy and also this guy to contend with. So this guy right here, is he going to sell again and try to make this level? Potentially. Are these buyers strong enough to break this level? If they really want to go up, they should be. Or at the very least, not let prices come down to here again. So even if prices stall, maybe perhaps use this as an SNR and then go past this level, going past this guy, going up to challenge that guy. Well, very interesting. It's we'll see how things perform. So far, so good. Let's have a look at volume. Volume is low so far, but we shall see. My anticipation is that the buyers will break this level, probably today. I don't think these guys have the power to come back down here. So we'll see. So far, it's proven to be a very interesting couple of days ahead for the markets, because I do see this turning, and hopefully, if I'm not too busy, I'll be able to make more videos to track this and see how things play out. All right, let me leave it there for now. Bye for now.